Alrighty, so the game between NYCFC and Cincinnati have just finished, and of course that game finished with relatively lots of stoppage time as well, and a little bit of questionable call that we'll talk about once the game between the Seattle Sounders versus the Houston Dynamo is finished. And speaking of that, I might actually miss the first 5 or 10 minutes of this because I'm trying to sneak in a video looking back at yesterday game in the playoffs in the first round because yesterday I got relatively back late as I was out all day, but I was still able to watch both of the playoff game yesterday in full. But that being said, let us actually begin with talk about the first game of the doubleheader that happened yesterday. And so far, the home team has pretty much been the dominant side in this playoffs, and so far, if you include the game that I've just watched between NYCFC and FC Cincinnati, the home team have pretty much been 5 for 5, at least in the first round of the playoffs, and it feels like it's a bit of a mirage after what we saw in the play-in round. After doing that play-in round, we thought that that was going to be maybe the road team will get some dominance, and no, it seems like in the first round of matchup, it's been mostly in favor of the home team. But anyway, enough with kind of the more unnecessary rambling. Let's talk about this game between Orlando and Charlotte FC. So Cartagena with the game's first shot, but he puts it wide. Unsurprisingly, I thought Orlando was on the front foot. They were pressing early for the lead. Torres then had a shot that was deflected and wide, and then Schlegel puts it wide on the header as Orlando straight away were putting some intense pressure early on. Charlotte still trying to get into this game, trying to get a foothold into this game as well. I think this is kind of where the experience of the playoffs pays off for Orlando City, where, for Charlotte, a lot of these players have not had these playoff experience, and we said it before, when it comes to the playoffs, it's a completely different animal compared to what we see in the regular season. Enrique then hits it wide from close range. The shots were already 4-0 for Orlando up to this point. And then Enrique was in on goal, but he missed that one wide as the flag went up. And he's probably fortunate the flag went up because that was not a great miss there from Romero Enrique. Galese then denied Abada as that was Charlotte's first shot. And then Schwadetsky would hits it high from close in the 23rd minute. As it feels like Charlotte definitely have survived that initial pressure in the first 10 minutes. They were looking to try to get the opening go up to this point, though the shots were still 6-2 for Orlando 24 minutes into this game. Kalina then palmed Torres shot over in the 26th minute, and then moments later, Arujo would miss hits one on the volley in the 26th minute as Orlando continued to create some chances, but it started. I'm pretty sure there's starting to be some frustration has to show into these Orlando players that the finishing was just not there there for them, and that they can't get that opening goal. Well, it seems like they probably saw that, and then in the 31st minute, yeah, they finally find that clinical finish. It's Facu Torres, who else, for Orlando City to give them a 1-0 lead up to this point. There was then a shout for a penalty for Orlando not given, and then Enrique was in on goal in the 38th minute, but he was absolutely robbed by Kalina on a 1v1 opportunity. I gotta say, if it wasn't for Kalina, Orlando probably would have won this one more comfortably. Between him and Guzan, I feel so bad for both of those goalkeeper end up on the losing side. They tried their best in terms of standing on their heads, but just at times kind of got hung out to dry by their defense, and that's kind of shocking to say about Charlotte, consider they're one of the best defensive team this year. But yeah, mostly in this game, their defense and attack was kind of non-existent at time. But as I said, Orlando was pressing hard for another, but we do head to halftime with Orlando City leading 1-0. In the second half, Enrique would puts one into the stands before Kalina denied Torres from close. Orlando picked up where they left off. They were pressing for the second goal, but at the same time, again, Kalina single-handedly keeping Charlotte in this game, and again, the defense and attack for Charlotte just pretty much non-existent. It almost feel like the lights might have got too bright for this Charlotte team heading into the playoffs, where again that inexperience in the playoffs have kind of shown in this one. They just cannot get anything going compared to what we saw in the majority part of the season. But in the 62nd minute, Abada would hit it high from close before Schlegel would hits one or he hits a one hopper to Kalina off the volley in the 63rd. Ajiman then hits one right to Galese. Charlotte must have what I wrote earlier, because again they started now creating some chances and was pushing for the equalizer. The shots were 16-6 for Orlando up to this point. But then in the 76th minute, Martino Ojeda basically called game. He scored from Angulo and Araujo to make it 2-0 in favor of Orlando City. Torres then looked for a third, but that was palmed away by Kalina. There was another shout for a handball and a penalty not giving to Orlando before Pepiel would hit one into the side netting and just kind of continue a very frustrating night for between him and pretty much that front three for the Charlotte team. I mean, that front three with Serdetsky, Beal, and Abada just not in sync whatsoever in this game. And to make matters worse, just a couple of minutes later, Pepio would get himself sent off in this one, and this was just a silly red card. You know that when you decided to kick out on an opponent, it's always going to be a red card, and even though it might be a cheeky kind of kicked out, in the age of VAR, you can't do that. And on that kicked out there on Janssen, the referee saws it, immediately gives a red card to Pep Biel. So now he's going to be missing in the next game, and that could be huge for this Charlotte team, considering he's one of the better contributor for this Charlotte team down the stretch as well. But yeah, in the end, Orlando City, they win 2-0 in this game against Charlotte. It was pretty comfortable win, which again, it's kind of a bit of a surprise. It's considered I thought this was a matchup that, there's going to be not much in it, and especially with the way how Charlotte has come into the playoffs relatively hot. I thought they were going to be a dark horse team and cause some surprise, but yeah, it feels like also when you know how I've said before when it comes to dark horse team heading into the playoffs and how they could do relatively well. Yeah, more time or not, they don't do relatively well. So I apologize that in advance. And now I'm also very nervous about Minnesota United too, because I also call them a dark horse, and yeah, I'm nervous now that they might not actually do anything against Real Salt Lake, especially with the way that so far road teams still haven't able to get a win in this first round matchup. Shots in this one, 17 shots for the 8 that Charlotte has. And by the way, I said that we don't know what's going to happen in the game between Seattle and Houston, though something tells me maybe Seattle will get that home win as well, considering the Dynamo has not been able to get a win against the Sounders at Lumen Field in what seems like in age. 6 shots on goal for the 2 that Shard has. 5 shots off target for the 4 that Shard had. 6 shots that was blocked for the 2 that Shard has. And possession-wise, 56% possession compared to the 44% possession that Shard has in this game. And, this series now moved to Vancouver Stadium. There's no doubt that I think it might be a little bit closer heading into that second game. Though, that being said, Charlotte, they're already on the back foot. They're already facing a must-win game in the next game, and while they've been very good so far this season at home, so is Orlando City, and when it comes to their role form as well, so that should be very interesting, especially with the way that again Charlotte will not have Pepe, one of their more important attacking player. Just a silly red card late in this game that might cost Charlotte a chance to win game 2 and maybe force a game 3 in this best of 3 series. Now, moving on, in the next match is LAFC versus the Vancouver Whitecaps. So coming into this game, obviously we know Vancouver have all the momentum in the world. I mean, after that 5-0 shellacking that they hand the Portland Timbers and knocked them out of the play-in round to make it to this stage, there's a question whether or not if that kind of carry into this game as well. Well, at least early on, it kind of showed that. I mean, it was a relatively even game, at least early on in this one. The first shot of the game did see Giroud puts it wide from close before Tillman hits one right to Takaoka. Again, straight up the bat. Well, at least in the early bit, it was LAFC the one that were the better team. They were pressing early for the lead. That would quickly change though, because the post would deny White, as that was the Whitecaps' first shot of the game, and Vite then had the second shot of the game, but he puts it wide from close. And again, it's been a very even start to this game. Both of these teams were looking for the opening goal. Takaoka would deny Bawanga from close range, and then on the rebound, Hollins had a chance to bury it, but he puts that one high. It wouldn't have counted either way because I think Hollins' head was in an offside position as well. Giroud then hits it over from close range before Vite would puts it wide off of a deflection in the 25th minute. Again, very even up to this point, as you expected. I had a feeling that coming into this game, this might be closer than what many people think it is, especially with the way that again Vancouver has all the momentum heading into this first game against LAFC, and not to mention they definitely want some revenge after what happened last year in the first round of playoffs. But unfortunately, in the 27th minute, they gave away a penalty as a PK was given to LAFC after VAR deemed that Blackman handball in the box there, which allowed Bawanga to steps up from the penalty. He usually doesn't miss from the spot, and he doesn't here. He buries it to make it 1-0 in favor of LAFC. And then they kind of continue to look threatening on the break because that's what LAFC does. They are a team that if you let them go on the transition, yeah, good luck trying to defend that. And again, the Whitecaps at times just some last ditch defending, some emergency defending to trying to stop LAFC whenever they go on the break. Though that being said, on the other end, the post in the third minute stop shot would deny goal on a curling shot, and the woodwork has been the best friend for LAFC up to this point. I mean, up to this point, the Whitecaps must be looking in the heavens, thinking, how in the world have they not tied the game up? And with the performance that they put in the first half, I think they deserve at least to get a goal in this one, but it was not to be, and we do head to halftime with LAFC leading 1-0. Now, in the second half, not much really happened early in this one. The Whitecaps had most of the possession, but you just kind of had a sense that kind of played right into the hands of LAFC, considering they love to transition. But in the 57th minute, they do get that second goal as Kike Oliveira would score from Bogusz to make it 2-0 in favor of LAFC. That was just champagne soccer from LAFC. That's a sign of a team that I've said before that this is going to be the team to beat in the Western Conference. It's been that case for the last couple of years. That's an example of it because while we have talked about how good they are on transitional play, we also should not forget that when they do have the ball at time, they can play some lovely soccer and create a lovely build up like what we saw here because of the high end talent that they had, and it was shown in big force there. But yeah, that made it 2-0 in favor of LAFC. And then the post would deny Bogut from close in the 60th minute. LAFC smelled blood up to this point, and for Vancouver, it's got to be very demoralizing. Again, up to that point, they played relatively well, but unfortunately, they just couldn't get that crucial goal. And again, when you're the heavy underdog coming into this game, and especially when you face against LAFC, just like how I said when teams face against Inter Miami, you have to take advantage of your chances, and you almost have to be perfect when you play against the likes of LAFC. But yeah, up to this point, LAFC was smelling blood. Vancouver looked like they're very demoralized, being 2-0 down. Though Kubas would put it wide from long range, and to the Whitecaps' credit, again, they started to get back into this game, putting some sustained pressure, looking to trying to get one back and set for a grandstand finish. Schrupp would then puts it wide from long range, and really as the time winds down, it seems like LAFC was just kind of packing this one in, trying to get the 2-0 game one win. There was then a great ovation as Carlos Vela, of course, was summoned for the first time this season. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks of when exactly is he going to make his debut for LAFC, and this is the game to do so. And then the post would deny Bogusz from the free kick. So yeah, the post definitely was a big factor in this one. Four of them was hit in this game, not as much as what we saw earlier this season in the game between the Red Bulls and the Union, that is. But in the fourth minute of stoppage time, Ryan Gold does set up a grandstand finish. He scored from Krylak and Berhalter to get one back for Vancouver. Though I said they set up a grandstand finish, it was a little bit too little, too late for Vancouver to do anything. There was only 2 minutes left in stoppage time, and yeah, in the end, LAFC gets the game one win, just like they did last year in the first round of playoffs. The shots in this one very even. 15 shots for both of these teams, 4 shots on goal for both of these teams, 4 shots off target to 5 that Vancouver has, 4 shots that was blocked with 5 that LAFC had, and possession was 53% possession compared to 47% possession that LAFC has in this game. And there's no doubt the advantage is once again for LAFC heading into game number 2. But if you're Vancouver and if you're Vanni Sartini, I mean, there's really nothing to be ashamed coming out of this game. This is similar to what I said when Atlanta put up a good fight against Inter Miami, and there's definitely hope for them because Raguzan really stood on his head. For Vancouver, really the hope in this game is that they really went toe to toe with LAFC in this one, and if they were just a little bit better with their finishing, who knows how this game would turn out. This feels like it's a very evenly matchup, kind of similar to what I thought this game was supposed to be, but that wasn't then how of course this play out between Orlando and Charlotte, and I'm very intrigued to see how game 2 is going to be. There's no doubt Vancouver is gonna be using this as motivation, and I would not be surprised we might see a game 3 between LAFC and Vancouver. It feels like, as I said, even for a 1v8 kind of scene, usually you would expect the one seed to absolutely demolish the other team, and LAFC of course is the class in the Western Conference, but look out for Vancouver. I mean, they have shown that they can go at it against the best teams, at least in these last game. This is kind of something they haven't shown pretty much throughout the season, where they haven't got that signature win, and they finally did it in that game against the Timbers, and it feels like that kind of put their weight off the shoulder. That now that there's that belief, especially that Vanni Sartini has put to this team, that they can definitely go up against some of the best team in the league and maybe can pull out with a win. Especially the next game is going to be actually at or plays at home. I mean, I wish that Vancouver wish that they could play at Providence Park. They wish that this is still the COVID year when they were playing at Providence Park for their home games. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they won't mind that they get to at least play in front of their home fans and actually play in a home game in the playoffs at BC Place instead of playing at another venue that is turns out to be a road game for this Whitecaps team. But there you have it. That is pretty much it for the review of these two games. Like I said, I went relatively quick because I really want to get this review done. I know I'm already gonna miss like the first 6 minutes between the game between the Sounders and Houston, so I'm hoping there's no goal that is being scored. If there is, I'll pretty much just backtrack and see what happened. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.